Welcome to Primo RV Center and a quick tour on a 192 RBS Freedom Express. And this is a little tour getting into more overall details on what makes a Freedom Express so special and what our customers continually love about them. I wanted to bring up this particular unit because this is the smallest unit they make, but you'll see the examples within this model that as the units get bigger, these features continue to grow. So things like storage, and especially unique storage, again, just extends. So all the benefits you get on this smallest model are going to be even larger on the bigger models. So starting right up front, we've got a power jack option, which we always make sure is on all of our units from Freedom. I love it because as you come in at night, you've got this light coming right down where you want it. And then also with that light aspect built into the 3/4 front cap here, which is a standard, you have 10 LED lights facing forward. So especially at night, especially if perhaps you're a snowbird as it turns to fall and winter, if you're traveling, it's usually dark by 4:30. So the more light you can have up front here, you really appreciate. And on a small coach like this, battery room. So as more and more clients are looking to get off grid, well, Freedom Express has always had a battery rack that can really handle up to 3 batteries. So even as we get into lithium batteries, typically they tend to be on the smaller side. Well, now you have even more room for more of them. And then coupled with that, going back a couple years now, Freedom Express has had a solar option. So any coach that we have the ability, which is about 95% of the models, we add a 170 watt panel to the roof that is expandable. So that's the beautiful thing here is just behind inside our front compartment, we have a charge controller here. So just inside that front compartment, you're going to have the charge controller that's readily accessible. So should you want to add additional panels, you could easily double that, if not almost triple that, in terms of the amount of solar you have. It's easy to, again, check on it, see how much you're getting, depending on your campsite and how shaded it is. And you've got lots of roof space. So even on this 192, there's definitely room to double the solar. As you go longer into 25 or 30-foot models, again, you have even more of that. So into the sidewall. So any of our Coachmen ultralights, and Freedom Express is no different. You have Azdel. You have Azdel, which backs onto the fiberglass. So you have no wood product in that wall. Wood product, as you go back, if you look at older coaches, even when you're camping, and you see the sort of waves to the wall, typically that is water related, and that's because that wood backer to the fiberglass has absorbed water, and now it's coming apart, called delamination. That's a big industry problem. Well, as far back as Freedom Express could, they integrated Azdel into it. Now they have integrated into the inside wall. So if you have a spill in the kitchen and water hits the wall, that is not wood. So you have nothing that can absorb water. So again, long term, you have something that's going to help to extend the life of the coach, not only outside, but also inside. So Freedom in the Coachmen line is the only line we have where we can option a ladder. So where we can, we do. So the exception is the SE series. We don't have that option, but in the standard Freedom, we have the ability to add a ladder, and typically we do. So that gives you easy access. Just, you're coming into the campsite, state or provincial park, you think you may have brushed that branch, you want to be able to just double check that for peace of mind. Well, you can hop on the ladder, head on up and just double check, and certainly make sure if you need a minor repair, easily done. You can also use that as access to potentially sweep off slide outs or roofs, especially if it's the fall or you're in heavy pine needles. So it just gives you, again, peace of mind, ease of access. Speaking of ease of access, we have our standard Lippert steady steps. You'll notice the 2 feet that hit the ground. That is huge. So if you've got young children, if you've got pets, if you are a little bit older, or perhaps you have people that travel with you that are a little bit older, that does make a big difference. The fact that your stairs now anchor to the ground, they don't move around. Each side is adjustable, so if your campsite's a little off center, it's not going to be an issue. And then these easily flip in, so you don't have the maintenance that you do with slide out steps where you're constantly having to lubricate them. They do rust, and eventually you have to change them. So these, you are not going to have to do that, which I love. And then couple that with a standard grab handle. So again, especially with kids or anybody that has any kind of mobility issue, it's always appreciated to have that grab handle. In the back of this particular model, you're going to see another standard feature of the last couple years, and rolling forward it'll continue to be, and that's a much larger fridge that is 12 volt only. Now I say 12 volt only, but when you plug it in the wall, you have power conversion that will use the 120 volt house power or campsite power and convert it to 12. So you're getting a fridge that's twice as deep as the previous propane model fridges. And if you're like myself and you happen to have a big family, or again, you entertain and bring friends sometimes. It's just nice to not have to go to the store as often. And you have a fridge that will typically cool twice as fast. So if you are deciding on a Friday morning that you want to take a last minute trip, well, by the afternoon, that fridge is cold and you're ready to go. So that is something that you're going to appreciate, certainly the space, but over time. So this little 192 is a wonderful example of this. The fact, one of the big selling features on all of our Freedom Express lines is the kitchens and the amount of counter space you get, but it's the depth. You do not see counters this deep where you can literally have, a coffee maker set behind a stove or behind your faucet in any brands. So it is a huge differentiator, and when you're on the road and this is your home, eventually you're going to have to do some cooking or some prepping inside because the weather isn't necessarily always the best. Well, this kitchen being the smallest, but even as we go forward, any of the larger kitchens, it gets even better. And then couple that with, again, proprietary storage they have where typically around a sink, you don't get any storage. So here, they've used that dead area with even a removable tray for all your cutlery. So now, all the drawers you have in the kitchen are now drawers that you can use for other things. So you've just upped your storage game huge here. But then again, we're only in a 19.5-foot model, but you get a huge double sink. And it's a sink that's rated to 500 degrees, and that's across all the Freedom Express lines. So again, really resilient over time, standard with a high-rise faucet. That little element that I love is the fact that they have all these charging stations. So naturally people are working from coaches. They want to keep in touch with family. So just in our entertainment area, we've got 2 USBs. We then have that next to our bed as well, coupled with 120 volts on either side of the bed. So should you have a CPAP machine, very important. But again, always being able to charge off of your batteries and solar. So even if you don't have power, you can still keep in touch with people. In a Freedom, a standard 60 by 80 queen bed. And within those queen beds, you're going to standard have 2 massive drawers here, so one on each side, and then the ability for easy access with 2 great big pistons to lift that bed. And you've got all that storage for shoes and boots on either side. Great place to hide away your laundry basket, or if you've got a smaller dog, great place to just tuck away perhaps the dog bed, litter box if you travel with a cat. So any of those pets, great little bed for them as well. USB charging I mentioned in the bedroom. We also have 2 on all the cup holders. So a wonderful little feature here. The height inside all of our Freedoms here, you're well over 80 inches in height. So again, in an ultralight, they're using lighter weight materials in the wall to benefit you on the inside. So you're getting that increased height, not only in the living area, but also as we get into some of the deeper slide, bigger models, you're going to get that throughout that house, that slide area as well. So really beneficial features as you spend more time, as you're more on the road. You're certainly going to learn to absolutely love the amenities that are standard. Things like a standard entertainment center that's always going to have a television, huge kitchen counter areas so that you can, again, cook for your family, your loved ones, but also entertain. So if you're traveling with others, again, features like our fridge that are quick to cool. We're going to have a glassed-in shower with a foot pedal toilet standard in our bathrooms. So any of our couples models will have the glassed-in shower, and then we're going to have that great foot pedal design with a ceramic bowl, so you can use those same cleaners that you're using at home, but now on the road. We'd invite you down to Primo RV Center to come have a much closer look at the full lineup of Coachmen Freedom Expresses at Ottawa's #1 RV dealer, Primo RV Center.